So slavery was God's mercy.
And you know what? I'm gonna have to be confrontational in this because I think conversations need to be had because I've heard people make the same dumb argument um, many times because in all black Christians, not all, many black Christians have to walk straight up to what's going on in their environment currently and has gone on in the past, and that they have to stare at that and still ask themselves, why be a Christian? And you get logic, like this spiritual um what is the word, Stockholm syndrome. They go through mental gymnastics in order to arrive at the position that that horrible thing that happened, that the fact that people were mothers, fathers, sisters, siblings were bred, someone like me can exist in the world to where, so my not me being Irish, English, Scandinavian, Dutch, um, Scots, German, French, all those things could happen in three people. Within three people, you get that kind of and that's not all of it. And you're getting on the internet saying that a black person should still be a Christian because that was mercy. The rape, the torture, the maiming, the eating of them. And still to this day telling lies about them. That's mercy. Your God is small and your God shouldn't exist. When I teach you all, see if I can calm down a bit. When I teach you all that every Christian goes through this process of creating what they will worship, and they end up really in the end just worshiping themselves. This is this process going on here. That torturing people and all the stuff that I've listed before, like that was mercy. Because oh my gosh, you might have ended up in the continent of Africa, and where would you have been without white Jesus? God, the level of mental gymnastics did not produce something good here. Did not produce something good here. Because the God that was spoken about is a God that's very much so disempowered and incapable of persuading Africans, incapable of showing up and making itself known, incapable of doing the things that would have provided, and then creating living epistles, which Christians have forgotten about that, but whatever. Living epistles, so that people would see that its ways are better ways than their ways. And so you're saying, and that is the whole long and short and sad of it all, is that your God is inferior and is truly a God of your own making, when that God could not take all that power you all claim that God had and couldn't have leveled it against the things that it did not like to see on the continent of Africa. And oh, by the way, your God allowed Europeans to be malevolent and evil to this day. And that God seems to have its priorities. It's like a wig that's too tight. And it's cutting off the circulation to that God's brain, because that God apparently is so petty, so unkind, and so evil, that it forgot that it was God. I sometimes wonder about Christians, like, because what's going on here is, as a black person, you're having to come to grips with the fact that God has allowed all that it has allowed to the people of African descent with nary a reparation, no addressment, and that we were left to free ourselves, all while being harmed, starved, beaten, Jim Crow. I mean, we all know the facts, apparently. And so you had to go in order to justify your any black person still being a Christian after all of that. After, because I mean, have y'all guys thought about this? Have you guys internalized the fact that you keep saying it's a being of infinite power and might and capacity to create the heavens and the earth, but yet it can't lift a finger to fix your situation? But yet you say, but you don't know what my God has done for me. What if it had actually done the totality of what it should have done? And freed people back in the day. And or even never let the slavery happen. What if it's came down to earth, to that continent, manifested itself in an appreciable way, and created a line of people who could speak of what they had seen and the beauty and the majesty of that entity and what it could do on the continent of Africa. Instead, it had to result to slavery. And then till this day, horrific things going on that continent, horrific things going on as darkness spreads across the earth, and Christians have zero defense against it because they ain't ready. They don't got any oil in their lamps. They ain't ready. They ain't ready for what's coming. Y'all know I'm a far-seeing person. I'm talking to y'all. We are in a situation in which things will get continuously worse unless people of virtue and character stand up and do something about it. The other day I told you guys that you're going to have to that people who are not narcissists, who are not evil, who just want to go and live in peace and in quiet and make the best life they can for themselves, you don't have the alarm is on. And you are going to address your present, okay? Because many of the Christians have checked out, okay? So what should have been a force to address what we're about to see, because starvation hadn't set in, they're not going to be ready. So people of character and of virtue need to stand up now.